Oh, I am an impressive human being. Yes, I am. Hello everyone, Ragewood here, back with another Godforge video. Now, I found myself watching Hell Hades' raid video earlier today about the new Dwarf Unity champion coming in. And within 2 minutes of that, he said, keep an eye out for today's video where we're going to be taking a look at the Svarga faction. Super excited. There is so little known about them so far. So in regards to that, I decided not to watch it. So this is a live reaction to it. I will try and keep it as short as I can without sort of diving into too much in whatever we see. You will also notice that I am wearing some Fateless swag. I got my hoodie, we've got our bandana on, and I also have a t-shirt which is currently in the wash. And now you can get hold of yours too. They launched their merch store this evening, even though it's probably going to be the following morning when you see this. Tuesday night they did launch their merch store. I have bought myself a Green Knight poster, which we're probably going to put on behind me, and I got a Godforge playmat coming as well. I couldn't pick a hoodie or a single faction to align myself with because, you know, I don't even know which one's my favourite yet, but perhaps this video might change that one for us. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Before we even look at the video, how cool is this thumbnail? Now that person behind is definitely someone we have not seen before. The fact they've got forearms doesn't really give it away because a lot of them do. She is female, I would guess. And she's got a skull hanging down there and her head. Perhaps that's Carly, but we shall see.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Really excited to share with you one of my favourite factions in Fateless today. Today we're going to be talking all things Svarga, and honestly one of the most challenging factions to create in terms of some of the visuals that we want to go for. But all
that's because everyone's got 1,000 heads, 8 legs and 4 arms.
also some of the most interesting artistically and honestly cool when you start to read up on a lot of the mythology and the active kind of like representation of these different gods and legends. So let's dive into the Svarga faction. We're going to show you the environment plans that we've got so far, some of the heroes that have been created in 2D, some of the heroes that are going through into 3D, and yeah, we'll just kind of like dive into it all. Really excited for this one. And really, really cool, actually. Our Patreons, we've got 790 members. Appreciate you all. Firstly, you can get some cool stuff if you support us. We really appreciate the support. But also, there's some behind the scenes kind of like content drops, like Serena Bell here giving a thank you to the Patreons and talking about her experience recording the cinematic, which is a new live song that's on our cinematic that she's done. Very, very cool.
So actually, the video I did get shown today, she did blow me a kiss, and I know it's to me specifically because we had this from Lady H. So obviously the only person who does that is myself. So yeah, my new wifey has done the song for the cinematic, which is cool.
As well as a few other bits as well. So if you're interested, I'll pin that down below as well. Right then, Svarga. So really, really cool visual elements to this faction.
Do you know what, actually, before we watch this, right, because this is going to be talking about the environment and how they're going to look, let's go take a look at some of the most famous sort of Hindi, I suppose, like temples and things out there, because there is 2 that spring to my mind, and one of which has a really, really cool sort of story still to this day. So just went over to Google, typed in, you know, famous Hindu temples, and it's brought up 35, also these sort of famous ones, they all have similar themes, all right? So for the majority of it, a lot of them are very colourful, quite vibrant. So that is something that I would expect to see in Godforge. And a lot of them have rounded edges or rounded roofs, whether that be in a cone or more like cylindrical. That's something you'll see very common between them, all sort of cone, but again, still well rounded. Again, all the tops rounded. And so between that and being colourful, you'll notice it is very similar. So this is what I mean by sort of like cylindrical, sort of at the top there. Very, very cool, some of these temples, and some of them I can't go to because, you know, I'm not a Hindu worshipper, but, you know, Golden Temple, again, round, the actual rounded and coned. You know, the largest and most famous Hindu temple is Angkor Wat in Cambodia. It's the single largest religious structure in the world and a tourist hotspot for young teens. This one I think looks super cool as well. I think I might have gone over some of this previously when we last got a glimpse at Svarga environment. But the one in particular that I want to sort of point out, where is it? I mean, this isn't it, but like, it just looks so cool. It is in Kerala, and I forget what it is called. This one, the Padmanabhaswamy Temple in Kerala. So this is dedicated to Vishnu. Be cool if we see Vishnu today. Vishnu being part of the Trimurti, which is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. But I don't think we'll see Shiva. That was my guess for the big name drop that we won't get. Anyway, the cool thing about this temple is for years and years and years, it had, I think, like either 6 or 8 vaults, which were never opened. And this temple had been here for hundreds of years, maybe even 1,000 years, and all these vaults were filled with treasures, or what's the word, like tributes, I suppose, to the god Vishnu and the temple, all that kind of stuff. In 2011, it was ordered to be opened, like all the vaults to be opened, and what they found inside was incredible, like one of the single largest, wealthiest hoards ever. You should definitely go check it out. But there was like Vishnu in diamond studs, gems, gold crowns, all of that kind of stuff, right? But one vault still to this day remains unopened. So if we come over to specifically the temple in question, so Vault B, the Forbidden Zone. I'm not going to go through all of it, all right, but essentially there's what they call like an antechamber. So they opened the first door and then couldn't open the second one. So they sort of gave up on it at the time, and then it was like a high court ruling to not open it at all due to its religious importance and all that kind of stuff. But there are other, what's the word, superstitious things as well. So on the front of the temple there is a serpent image on the front door which says danger to anyone who opens it. Snakes are considered the most dangerous animal out there. They're also considered the cycle of life with their shedding of their skin, which is why Shiva tends to be depicted with them. Shiva is the destroyer, Cobra's dangerous, and yeah, all that. It's a whole thing. But it was never opened. And if you look at the other treasures that were found in the other vaults, I mean, just look at this inventory, and some of them, a 4-foot-high statue, pure gold, of Mahavishnu studded with diamonds. Like, that's Vishnu on, I forget his bird. What's his bird called? Whatever. Like, a solid pure golden throne, studded with diamonds, ceremonial attire adorning, an 18-foot-long pure gold chain. A 36-kilogram golden veil, 1,200 Sarapali gold coins. Like, the amount of wealth in this thing was ridiculous. And Vault B is the biggest one. Bigger than any of the other ones. It's never been opened, and this is what was inside some of those. Superstitious or not, this is the door at the front of Vault be? Like, how menacing does that look? And they reckon it's protected by Vishnus, the king of Nagas, sort of snakes. Some people believe the vault is connected to the Arabian Sea and opening it would flood the entire state. Some believe opening a vault would unleash catastrophic consequences, but yeah, I mean, that certainly doesn't look like a door that I'd want to walk through. Anyway, we've jabbered on far too long already. I mean, the Fateless video is only, what, like 9-10 minutes long. This is probably already 20 minutes, so let's take a look at what they've done with the environment.
We've got some of the different environment ideas and kind of like thumbnails.
So you can see, again, you've got these rounded cones. So, I mean, they're not idiots. They've obviously looked at what the same things I look at. You've got these huge temple idols, lots of colour.
That we've done, which you might have seen in the past. I really, really like the colour schemes here. I really like the way the kind of like world is being formed. With all of our factions, we do a lot of deep dive in visual cues, the type.
Yes, again, you've got these sort of rounded art structures at the top. The mosses, it's going to be similar. A lot of old temples, same with they did the saber. You know, there's lots of the moss growing on all the flowers. Lotus flowers are going to be very prevalent. A lot of these, yeah, a bit more square than I would say it should be. But again, I'm not a designer.
Of colors that we should be using, you know, the type of structures that we should be trying to build out. And these form our kits for world building. So you can see here a whole bunch of the different call outs we're doing. Things like the lotus flower coming.
Oh, Kali. So I did say the first one looked a bit like Kali. And we have her here. Like, the necklace was supposed to be skulls, I think, with Kali. So it might not be her at the front, but...
Coming through with the Kali sculpture here. Some of the color schemes that we want to make sure we hit. Also, things like showing the side.
That's more what I'd expect to see, sort of.
His feel.
Oh, yeah, the size. Look at that little dude. Wow.
Of how different assets should look compared to a character. And some of these assets will be like right back in the background as we start to bring these worlds to life. But yeah, already some really, really cool work that's being sculpted in 3D, as well as work that's been done in 2D. And a lot of these assets we can reuse in different ways as we're building out our different environments. So very, very cool. Let's talk about some characters then. So we've got here Hanuman. He's not the Monkey King, but he does have some ape-like qualities. So we kind of did some original, like concepting.
Okay, this is a guy I don't actually know. But yeah, looks a bit like an ape.
Dane, in his style, did some really cool sort of draw over work and gave some references actually of, other art styles that we like that could kind of fit this character. So I actually pulled out Dalsim here from Street Fighter. Blast from the past for me, seeing this one, really, really cool. And then we end up with our final concept here. Again, a number of different things called out from.
That's very cool. Again, I'm going to quickly jump to Wiki and see what Wiki says about this guy, and we can compare it to Fateless's depiction of him. Okay, so I'm not going to bring it up on screen just so we can see it. So Hanuman is a Hindu god with an upper body of a man and the face of a tail of a monkey. Yeah, okay, so you can see from the sort of nose and the face, so you've got that sort of ape-like feel there. To call out with the sort of fur, sort of gorilla kind of look. No tail there, but no, that's fine. He's a central character in the Hindu epic Ramayana and is known for his strength, loyalty, and devotion to Rama. Rama is another powerful deity that, again, I would expect we will see. He's often depicted to have a golden crown. Yep, you can see the golden crown there. His chest sometimes shown ripped open to reveal an image of Rama. Not sure we're going to see that here. But that's still seen. So he's known for his strength, courage, wisdom, speed. He also known loyalty and devotion to Rama. Hanuman's considered a symbol of bravery and service. He helps Rama rescue his wife from the king Ravana. Now Ravana is someone. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I said ages ago that the particular character had came out that I said was the first one we'd seen from Svarga, and I wasn't sure who it was, and I guessed it might be Ravana. Now that definitely looks like the legs of that character. Now, Ravana was supposed to have like 1,000 faces. He's a demon prince. But obviously 1,000 faces and heads is hard to make, so they had like pauldrons for him. That's definitely him. I'm sure we'll see you in a second, but... let's go south. Sorry, Ragewood, not south. Don't search for Southwood, that's not my name. Oh, I am an impressive human being. Yes, I am. So it makes total sense that he's here now, because he helped save Rama's wife from him. He's considered to be a symbol of the perfect Hindu, and he uses their abilities to help others. There we go.
From mood boards in
Come on,
terms of
show us.
some of the visual styles that we want to hit, some of the different sort of ornate pieces that we want to put on. But very, very cool. This is going to be a rare for the Svarga faction, and actually already pushed into sculpting. So we do have a preview here of Hanuman with the weapon as well. Damn, you do not want to get caught out.
You do not want to get clubbed with that. Jeez. Some might say this gentleman is making up for something.
With this absolutely awesome piece here. And yeah, we go into the 3D. So the 3D sculpt has been going on now for the last couple of weeks. We've got Christian working through this. And this is definitely like a work in progress, but you start to see some of the different shapes being modeled out. You can see the sort of work that Christian is doing here. And he actually is now taking it into some of the UVs and low polys just to make sure that we're hitting the right poly counts before we're able to kind of like push on with the sculpt. So still a lot to do on this one, but very, very cool character. We have got another rare coming through, which is Ravana. Again, this...
Yes, it was him. I got it right. God, I'm so high-pitched. God, when is puberty coming for me? Now, to be fair, one thing I have got wrong. Like, so I'll just pull up my website on the other screen here. He's a rare. I'm pretty sure I didn't put him as a rare. Also, side note, boys and girls, I am failing, but still getting very frustrated to update the website. Trying to get it look more professional with the menus and everything at the top here. I'm off for the next 2 days. I'm going to try very hard to get this heading worked out. So I only have like this tea stain parchment across the menu here, and then like a slider. Like, I know exactly what I want to do. I cannot for the life of me do it, but we will soldier on anyway. We will go down to Svarga. And yeah, there we go. So I did put him as an epic, but hey, I'll take it. I'm still right. That's obviously what Simon meant when he said I'm right 95% of the time. This is something else. We've got the parchment at the top there. It disappears down here. Word development. Who knew? There we go. God, I'm so chuffed. Not just a pretty face. Anyway, back to the homepage. We'll close that down.
This one, oh man, it's so sweet. Feels above rare, in my opinion. So I really, really like the kind of the dress style here. I really like some of the call outs in terms of the different faces that we've got.
So this answers a question, all right. So they're doing Svarga last, or a lot of the more difficult ones last, because, for example, say Ravana was said to have like a bajillion heads. You can't put a bajillion heads on a character. It'd just be, well, you could, just it would look awful and probably take up all of your CPU. So it was wondered whether they would put these in animation, for example, in the abilities, have like 1,000 faces, and you still could, like, oh, that'd be cool, have like an ultimate where, you know, just all these heads appear behind them, their lights sort of glow, and then like he attacks her with magic or something. Anyway, it's by the by. Whether they do it as animation, whether they would build these people with 1,000 heads, 8 legs, or whatever, or whether they would do it in some other way. And I thought this was a clever way of doing it, having the heads for sort of shoulder pauldrons, and that's what sort of gave it away to me a little bit. And then you see the back view, they've got more there, so it was definitely Ravana.
Got going around his body, and for me, I like this feeling of every hero's got his own identity, and definitely this feels like nothing we have shown before.
I also love the ornate sword here, and that sort of pommel. It just reminds me of like Arabian Nights, and I don't know if anyone's had Shisa. No, Shisa? Shisa? I think it is. Like, it sort of reminds me of like that sort of shape. Yeah.
For a hero in Godforge. The team have then gone on and made sure that the weapon has got some really nice call outs as well. So you can see the kind of visual style that we're going for, all of the different type of like beautiful, honestly, ornaments that go around some of the hilts and the weaponry. This guy, though, has already been moved on to 3D. So we have got some visuals here of him being produced. Again, early block out stage, making sure we get the shapes right.
It's obviously low poly, doesn't look as impressive because they bake it down. I think that's one. Same with those that we saw with the ice golem, but he will look more bright and in your face when the game comes.
Right, making sure that we get the right type of proportions in play, and basically what we do then is we move into that low poly stage. We get the UVs kind of lined up, and then we're going to be going into the kind of like final visual for Ravana real soon as well. So let's move on to 3 legendaries then that are all coming through in concepting right now. So we've got Ganesha here, really cool mood board, just so many kind of like visual.
So we saw Ganesha in the Discord. He was spoiled to us. But it's interesting, actually, just going back. Ravana, they haven't gone with a bajillion heads, because that'd be hard. But they have taken the dive for the 4 arms on Ganesha, so maybe it's going to be a case of they'll pick and choose which deity is going to look like they are and which ones are going to have, like, callbacks to, depending on the difficulty.
Visual inspirations for a hero of this type of, I guess, strength in game. And depicted so well across different ornaments and visuals that we can see here. We then move on and start to understand for us anatomy and what we're really looking at.
Sorry, it's funny because this part looks a lot like the same way I looked about 7 weeks ago. I don't know why that's so funny.
Now here is, if we're going to do multi-armed heroes, what does that need to do? What does that need to actually look like? And we start to sort of play with the visual of how that could impact. Obviously, we then start to say, well, what does our version of Ganesha actually need to feel like? And then we get some different sort of visual references from some of the kind of
Yeah, so good. This way we would avoid another pair of pecs and thus have the opportunity to recycle this body type into other characters. Now that is clever. Having the arms come out of the back might not necessarily be the same as he is depicted in real life, but it avoids another sort of pectorals, and then they can just use that. Once they master it once, they can use it again. God, that's very clever. References from Smite. There you go. Yep, Smite. He is in Smite. I'd be surprised if a lot of the references they use aren't from Smite. Now, Smite is a totally different game, but it has been out for a while. Smite 2 is now out as well. And yeah, I played that game for years. A lot of the reason that I know so much as I do is because of that game. A new character would come out, go find out who they are, what they do, similar to what I do now, I suppose, only I already know a little bit more, so I have to look less. He could be floating over a lotus flower, yeah. Iconography, he'll have his war axe, he'll have his palm out, a lotus flower, and a bowl of golden nuggets in number 4.
Dictations of Ganesha as well, but really cool design here from, I think it was Esther who pulled this one together. We then looked at, okay, well, what could we do?
I can't remember which one they went for in the end, but some cool ones here. This bottom looks pretty cool. I don't think that's the one they went with in the end.
For some different colors and themes for the same hero? Like, how do we want?
3 is definitely my favourite out of all of those. I like how the trousers feel like a bit like the sea. It sounds like a really weird thing to say, but that's sort of what they remind me of. English sea, not anything nice, but still.
To kind of like finalize this one, we ended up with something which is super sweet, honestly. This is kind of like a front and back view.
That looks similar, more similar to 1, but yeah, he looks so good.
How we decided to try and make sure that we got the shoulders working from the back, and yeah, really, really great design. But then also, how would we actually animate and pose a hero like this? So again, looking at this kind of...
Oh, wow. How good is that? That looks so good. God, sod my Green Knight poster I've just ordered. Give me that to hang on the wall behind me. Especially on a black background with the sort of orange hue behind. Oh, that looks so wicked.
Like almost more meditating, off the ground, yeah, levitating type of vibe with this hero. And then we got the sort of final image here where we got the lotus flower in the mix as well. Just so cool, honestly. Great artwork, like individual.
I mean, shout out to, I think he said it was Esther, like, yeah, black background, slap that on a poster, give it to me in A2 and it's going up there.
Artwork alone, absolutely.
Yeah, that should definitely be. You want to know what you want in your merch store, Simon? This needs to be one of it. Like, that is that's mightily impressive. Like, I love that. I still don't know if that makes him my favourite hero, though. I think Heimdall is still nice, but I mean, if they did, because they do a Heimdall poster very similar on like a mountainside white background, and yeah, eventually I think I want to be surrounded by Fateless games posters and things in an office.
Next one I want to show you then is Carly.
Oh, it is Carly. Okay, the goddess of death. Yeah. It was Skulls. Yeah, Skulls give it away. She was often depicted naked, and okay, this is a children's game, so they can't do that necessarily. Gotta cover the foo-foo. But still, true, she had black matted hair. Obviously, that would be hard to see here. Black skinned. Yeah, really good.
Man, what a great visual.
Shader with translucency and Fresnel astral arms. So are the arms going to stay there all the time, or is that going to be an animation? She did carry a sword in one hand as well, or was it a sickle? Can't remember which. That's missing, but yeah.
Of a hero in this one. Like, absolutely brilliant work. Again, like, as I say, this is probably my favorite faction for just outstanding artwork, outstanding visuals, really different type of faction from anything we've seen so far. You've really just got such an insanely beautiful quality to a lot of the different decoration here, while still trying to make sure we get some of the call outs from the mythology of it all. So yeah, Carly coming through in 2D and looking really, really cool.
God, I think that character is gonna be down to how they nail this. Like, the aesthetic will come down to sort of the translucent sort of astral arms and this behind her. If they nail that, she'll look like a great character. If they look bad, then she will look bad. And I don't mean that negatively, but what makes her unique is this. So when people pull her, that's what they're going to focus on. So that's really important.
Coming through in 2D and is Shiva.
Oh, hold on, I went forward.
And the final one I'm going to show you here today is Shiva.
No, I was so wrong. Oh, see, I said perhaps he might be the one. I mean, when Paul or Sophia said that there is one big one that's not going to be there on launch, but it's okay because I'll come later, I said perhaps Shiva. But I was wrong. Which means surely we're going to have the Trimurti then. Trimurti, I think that's how it's said, with Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. I mean, the three of those are considered in some nerd circles to be the most powerful of all the gods across all mythologies. Specifically Shiva. So, Shiva the Destroyer and his third eye was the god of gods kind of thing. So this will be interesting.
Where we've gone through a number of different kind of like iterations. So for Shiva here, we're basically trying to get the surreal type of
Do you know, I'll let Simon finish what he has to say first.
vibe of Shiva, but knowing that, you know, there's a lot of power behind what he's able to do. You can see this kind of like full version here with the kind of like the halo disc, grabbing some of the different elements from story, like the snakes here entwined. We also see that on the front as well. Just so good, honestly. Really, really love this. And then we're exploring at the moment some different ideas for weaponry as well.
So we'll come back. Yeah, so there is a lot of power. And it's interesting that they've gone for a more understated look. Now, you know, that it looks similar to what you see in most pictures and arts and things like that. My recollection was he did have a blue face, which is right, but his skin was often depicted as white. Now, I could be wrong in that, and I thought it was either Vishnu or Brahma that was typically blue all over. You know, they've got it right at the top here. He did have the 3 lines across his forehead, and he was often shown with like a crescent moon. I don't see a crescent moon anywhere, but then I could be wrong. This is also just a 2D concept. And yeah, the snakes being there is a big thing too. The snakes were like a symbol of power, destruction, and again to do with the sort of creation of life with shedding their skin and all of that. Yeah, interesting. And then the Trishula and the Damari, obviously we're going to see in a second. Like, it's interesting. You say understated is good, could show power, but I say that it is reasonably accurate, to be fair. I like to see like this glow, almost like, you know, Captain Marvel's glow. If you've seen those films, that kind of thing would be cool to see.
And we're exploring at the moment some different ideas for weaponry as well.
Yeah, so the Trishula, or the Trident, it was to do with the Trimurti and the 3 of them. It was like the weapon of it with the Damaru drum there. So yeah, that's there too. It was small, but it is still there. I think out of all of them, I prefer number 2. I think I like the gold, like the gilded gold round here, and again the flat at the top there. But
so we've got kind of like the drum and the wooden vibe here. We've got another one.
Ooh, that looks good as well. I think I prefer that one on the right.
One here, just again with some different.
He zoomed out. Do I still prefer the one on the right? No, I think now I've zoomed out, I prefer this one on the left. Again, you've got the snake heads here as well.
Sort of call out. So again, would love to understand your feedback on some of these designs down below.
Well, you have just received mine as we've gone through, Simon.
What's your favourite one? Who do you hope we get from this mythology?
Okay, so that's it. So, what's my favourite one? Out of the ones that we have seen... Ooh... Do you know, it might be Ganesha. Kali looks great too. I think maybe I prefer Ganesha because it's further along. We've got that cool artwork poster at the end. So maybe there's a little bit of bias there. But I think out of the 3, I mean, Kali looks great. So does Shiva, but... yeah, Kali and Ganesha for me are the ones that are up there. So who do I want to see then? So I suppose Vishnu and Brahma have to be there, right? Or again, maybe one of those is the big names that's not there. But you'd like to think you're going to have those 3 there. Also, I forget what they call their partners. The Tridevi. So it'd be cool to see the Tridevi as well. So you got Saraswati, who's the wife of Brahma, Lakshmi, the wife of Vishnu, and Parvati, who's the wife of Shiva. Obviously, Parvati and Shiva being the parents of Ganesha. Rama, I think, should be there as well. He's a very big deity in Hindi. And Krishna would also be a fun one to see. Maybe you got Vamana. There's so many. Agni, the god of fire. He'd be wicked to see. He's got a few heads though. So, yeah, that would be just a couple that I think I would like to see off the top of my head. And that is it for today's video. So I have some cool stuff there. Really cool stuff there. Oh, I'm so happy I got Ravana right with nothing. But there we go. Anyway, I've got some work to do on the website. I've got a few more characters to add. I've still got to get the pages right. Oh, before we go. So this is actually a video I sent into the CC chat to get their opinion, and I want to get yours on it as well. So I've been making just a new sort of style hero page, if you will, alright? And I'll just turn it down so you can hear. So, hero character title, that's fine. Scrolling down, I've been putting this in. Now, this is obviously not perfect. I do not have the assets. I have just screenshotted it and made it rough size. But we have the faction, the Olympus with the flag. We have the rarity, obviously legendary, be orange. The affinity, void, that, alliance, slayer. Do you guys think that is needed, or is it not needed because, you know, depending on what sort of picture I've got, it could be up here? And also, you know, it's likely you've gone through to factions to Olympus to get to him. So do you think that is required or not? Let me know. Skills, I'll have the skills written down here. Obviously, his skills are not smolder and smolder, but harder. But, you know, I will have the skills there. And then down here, we were going to have, you know, areas to use. So again, something I was asking was, do we think smiley faces and frowny faces are good? Do we think star ratings needed? Or do we prefer, you know, S tier, A tier, etc.? And I'm going to put links to these areas as well. If it's good in Treasure Golem, you'll click this. It will take you to the Treasure Golem. Yeah, let me know what you think. Stars, tier ratings, frowny faces, do let me know. Obviously, I am trying to make this for you. And as it is you guys who are using it, you are the opinions that I would like. So, we're going to leave it there for today. So, thank you so much for watching. This has dragged on way long, just as I knew it would be. Take care. Look after yourselves. Work hard. But as always, play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.